Welcome to the closing dinner of ASU GSV 10.
10 years. And you guys are the hardy, the ones who have suffered and went through thousands of meetings from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You guys are the hardiest, and we're so thrilled to be here with you tonight.
We are, and I know all of you are waiting for Superman, and we'll get to him in a moment. But there's a couple things we wanted to get to first. Folks, it was just a little over a year ago that the tragedy in Marjory Stoneman Douglas took place. And as a conference of educators and people passionate about education, I wanted you to know, if you didn't already, that we have some of the students who are part of that experience here with us today. And so what we'd like to do is begin this evening with a moment of remembrance for those students here today. If you would please join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think by now you all know this is the 10th year of the ASU GSV Summit. Happy anniversary. And I would like to begin by thanking our dear friends and partners at GSV, Michael Moe and Deborah Quazzo, and also their amazing team, Michael, Jason, Megan, Carrie, Emily, Susie, and hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody else, but I'm sorry if I missed you, Lubin. So thank you very much to GSV.
Oh, come on, give it up for GSV.
Thank you.
10 years, big deal.
And of course, my wonderful colleagues from Arizona State University, Phil Regier, Todd Altadonna, Janice Kleinwert, Patty Ryder, Cookie Ellis, and everybody else, Rachel Galan, and hopefully I didn't forget anybody, but big applause to my colleagues at ASU.
10 years is a really big deal. Not many things, ideas come and go, but this is one that's really stuck with our industry. Julie, is there any way we could try and visualize what a big deal, how long this has been going on for?
Absolutely. So everyone, please stand up.
Wow.
Okay. Please sit down if this is your first summit. All right, we have a lot of first-timers here. Please sit down if this is your second or third summit. Okay. Please sit down if this is your fourth or fifth summit. Sixth or seventh summit. Sit down. Oh, Tyler, you would need to sit down, right?
I'm down.
Yeah, okay, he's down.
Everyone know Julia's still standing, by the way.
Please sit down if this is your eighth or ninth summit. So
Wow.
all of you remaining, 10 years, give a hand. Thank you for being with us during this amazing journey over the past decade.
Yeah, thank you to the Trailblazers who have made this conference what it is. First act in our program tonight, I am so excited to welcome to the stage a lifelong educator with a passion for helping children, and that is Denise Gallucci, the CEO of GEMS America.
So welcome, Denise.
Of course.
Good evening. Passionate, purposeful, and powerful are attributes that describe the recipient of the 2019 Lifetime Achievement Award. Geoffrey Canada is a very special man. He makes dreams happen. He is an agent of change and an unrelenting advocate for social justice. Geoffrey drew inspiration from his own upbringing, growing up in the South Bronx, in a relatively tough neighborhood. Jeff always excelled in school. He was fortunate that his teachers recognized his academic prowess and his potential and shepherded him to the most prestigious institutions in America. Doing his undergraduate at Bowdoin and graduate work at Harvard, Geoffrey paused and looked around and noticed that his story was a unique one, that his peers in urban centers across our country were not reaching the heights of top-tier institutions and colleges across our nation. And it was at that time that he decided he was going to change that. He was going to galvanize a movement and be sure to put college not only within the grasp of every student, but the expectation of every student. And there was born the vision for the Harlem Children's Zone. The Harlem Children's Zone is an incredible place, a beacon of excellence in education for not only schools across our nation, but worldwide. Geoffrey's vision for the Harlem Children's Zone was backward mapping the portrait of a high school graduate. How is it that we provide the supports necessary to students such that they believe in themselves, have the tools, resources, and resilience not only to make it to college, but through college? Geoffrey decided to start with expectant mothers, teaching them early childhood development, and new mothers, skin-to-skin touch, early learning experiences that are rich, linking mothers with community resources, raising a community to raise a school. So many times we hear stories about people who've made it out of difficult situations and achieved success. They go on to do great things. Rare is the story about the individual who defines his success by going back and ensuring the injustices that he experienced were fixed, and that expectations were changed, and that children realized their potential. And the urban youth in America, children suffering the deprivations of poverty for generations, understood that the world needs their talents. The world needs to hear their voice. He changed that. Waiting for Superman is a documentary that featured Geoffrey in 2010. He so eloquently talked about there is no Superman. No superhero is coming down to save our kids. I beg to differ, because Geoffrey Canada is a superhero. He has changed the course of students' lives for generations. He impacts directly tens of thousands of children annually at the Harlem Children's Zone, and indirectly millions and millions more here and around the globe. This man has certainly impacted my life personally and professionally, and it is my great honor to share with you some friends of Geoffrey's who also would like to share some words of gratitude with him. Please, let's see the video.
In late August, 92, my twin brother and I, we were on our way to Riverside Park, and we were confronted with several young men. One individual pulled out a weapon, aimed at my brother, and pulled the trigger, and instantly my brother was killed. After my brother died, Geoffrey Canada for me was my go-to. He was my father. He was just the only person in my life at that point to guide me through the crisis that I experienced.
Geoffrey Canada is a master of understanding the human condition. He is someone who really is concerned about the welfare of individuals and the people around him. I met Jeff back in 1970 at Bowdoin College. We used to talk about social justice and how we're going to improve the quality of life for people living in the inner cities. Jeff would always talk about, what am I going to do with this education when I get out?
As Jeff was formulating his idea for the Harlem Children's Zone, we were one of the very early funders. We were so compelled by the depth of his vision, the commitment, the comprehensiveness of the strategy.
When we started the Harlem Children's Zone, we had no money. But Jeff said, that doesn't matter. We have a great vision. And he is the visionary who shaped the concept and the ideas of the Harlem Children's Zone, which has allowed it to become one of the best organizations in America.
I think the thing that defines Jeff as a human is that he is very focused on the mission of ending generational poverty for children.
Jeff feels that education is the way out of poverty. He is determined to improve the lives of people in Harlem by giving them a great education so they'll be able to get jobs to take care of their families and their children.
We have over 700 young people now who are in college and who are on their way to having a kind of life that they would not have had but for the Harlem Children's Zone and Geoffrey Canada.
Jeff's greatest accomplishment is the ability to open up the Harlem Children's Zone and to build 2 schools. And he has had a tremendous impact on social policy. When President Obama was in office, his Promised Neighborhoods is based on many of the concepts of the Harlem Children's Zone.
I think the Harlem Children's Zone is the manifestation of everything that Jeff wants to see for all children in America.
Jeff's work and commitment to the Harlem Children's Zone can be summed up in one word, and that's inspiration. When I think of the word inspiration, I think about the spirit that he's given each of us, that we can do anything that we put our minds to.
I think the ASU GSV Summit is beautifully aligned with Jeff's mission. Both are trying to ensure that educational opportunities are available for all young people in America. And therefore, he is absolutely deserving of this award.
Congratulations, Jeff. It's well deserved.
You are a great inspiration.
We are so proud of you, and congratulations on this wonderful award.
So, my hero, your hero, and the millions of children whose lives Geoffrey has changed, the 2019 recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Geoffrey Canada. Well, we have one more surprise. So Geoffrey didn't do this work alone, as you know, and there is a very special individual who supported him throughout his life, his very best friend, George Caldoun. Where are you, my friend?
Get out of here. George is here. Oh, that's a shock.
God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. And you all have shaken me up now, so I've already forgotten what I was going to say. So, first of all, I want to thank you. This is a tremendous honor. There are not a lot of honors I get that are really meaningful, but this is absolutely going to be one. I have to tell you, there is one other honor that was important for me. Several years ago, Fortune magazine listed me as the 12th most influential person in the world. And wait, no, that wasn't it. I got a stack of those magazines, right? And I took them home to my wife, Yvonne, and they know my wife. I've been trying to impress this lady for 30 years, right? So I get the magazine. I said, honey, turn to page 27. So she flips through the magazine, looks at it, and looks up and says, couldn't crack the top 10, huh? It's all good. It's all good. Look, I'm only going to be a few minutes, but I have to say this. Denise is right. When they were filming Waiting for Superman, the film, when it was finished, it didn't have a title. About 4 or 5 months, and one day Davis Guggenheim called me and he said, Jeff, we have a title. It's going to be called Waiting for Superman, which was based on something that I said in the film. And the statement came from the fact that growing up in the South Bronx, I saw a community that was falling apart, and a group of adults, as best I could figure, they were going to let it. We were going to be on our own. If there were no superheroes, there was no one coming to save us. And let me tell you the end result of that. I'm 67 today. No. Not as in today is my birthday. It's 67 in general. But I should have gone with that birthday thing. I have one friend that I grew up with that's still alive. I thought when I was 9 we weren't going to make it out of there. We didn't make it out. People think, well, you got out, Jeff. Yeah, but my mother had 4 boys. One of them didn't make it at all. One is, even to this day, struggling. People think this education thing is just a matter of test scores or, counting data. Children's lives are at stake. They are not going to make it. They're going to be doomed, and we've got to take this thing seriously. And so people get angry at me because, when I finished up at Harvard, I started teaching. I only wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to do education, and I know teaching is a real profession. It takes real talent for real, and people get upset with me because I demand excellence. In poor communities, these kids don't have any other option except to get an education. And that means we've all got to have high standards, and we all have to hold ourselves accountable. And when we started our charter school, the first thing I did was I got our chancellor, I got my board, I got the community together, I got the mayor there, and I said to all of them, in Central Harlem, where we've had the worst schools for 40 years in New York State, if I didn't have a better school than all those other schools in Central Harlem, I was going to fire myself. They were like, whoa, they wrote it down. Jeff said 5 years, right? So when they left, I got my entire staff there, and I said, did you all hear what I said? They were like, oh boy, Jeff, that was bold. You said you were going to fire yourself. I said, yeah, but I just want all of you to know I'm the last one leaving. All right? I'm not joking. This thing is serious. It's important. We have a long way to go. By the way, there are people who are actively working against those of us who are trying to do ed reform. And as far as they're concerned, they're winning. They've seen real pushbacks in all the reform efforts. And I look around this country, and I see what's going on in Chicago, in Detroit, in Milwaukee. I was just in Watts last week, and I realize that our job is as important as ever. Now, I'm 67, I'm about to finish here. I will tell you, it's a young crowd, I will tell you educators how you know when it's time to get out the game. Denise is really young, she's in the game. When your students start going bald, you know it's probably time. constantly have people coming up to me, oh, Mr. Canada, when I was a kid, you changed my life, and I'm looking like, how old are you? You look like you're 50, right? Here's the deal. I thought this thing could be fixed in a couple of years. It hasn't been fixed. We've got great examples of stuff going on. But I'm going to say to all of you tonight, while I'm absolutely thrilled to accept this award, we've got a lot of work to do, and we all need to take it seriously. And we've got to go out and we've got to save America's children. That has to be job one. Godspeed and God bless.